You must have already come across the news of the Air India flight crash. It was such an unfortunate incident. I was reading a post somewhere. It mentioned a man named Pratik Joshi. He had been living in London for 6 years. He was a software professional, earning well, and his dream was to eventually settle abroad in London with his family. His wife and 3 kids were still living in India. So finally they decided that she and the children would move to London. They were joyfully heading back to London, planning to settle permanently. That Air India flight, the one that crashed, his wife was on it. Her name was Dr. Komi Vyas. She had resigned from her job because she was shifting permanently. It said she was a renowned doctor from Udaipur. In fact, she had even taken selfies and sent them to relatives, marking the start of new life. But then what happened on that flight and how life changes in an instant, there is no certainty. That's why with the life you're living, cherish every moment like it's happy one. Only then will it be worth it. Because all this hard work, this entire career race, what is it all for? It means for living life. And if we don't live today, then there is no guarantee of tomorrow. So don't wait for your happiness tomorrow, live today. One of the purposes of creating this video was to share what really happened, because you won't see this kind of content in mainstream news. They don't usually show the major facts that should be shared. So I thought I'd share a few things I found during my research. Now first, let's talk about the aircraft used. It was a Boeing aircraft. Airlines use aircraft from companies like Boeing and Airbus. Whether it's SpiceJet, Indigo or Air India, they all use planes made by Boeing or Airbus. The airlines don't build their own planes. So this particular plane was a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, and the Dreamliner has its own story. But before I explain that, I want to show you something. You might be seeing this person on screen. His name is John Barnett. He was born in California, USA. He died in March 2024. He committed suicide. His suicide was subject of major debate at that time. But these things don't reach India. In fact, most Indian citizens probably don't even know what Boeing is. It's important to have information. School education alone is not enough. Anyway, John Barnett worked at Boeing from 1985 to 2017 for 32 years. He was a whistleblower against Boeing. A whistleblower is someone who works inside a company and reports wrongdoings to the authorities or government. That's what he did. If you look at the screenshot paragraph, it clearly says that John Barnett worked with Boeing for a long time. He was initially at Boeing's Everett factory, where aircraft like 747, 767 and 777 were manufactured. He often praised Boeing's methodology, safety practices, and even prepared an 11 courses curriculum to train auditors. But after 2010, he was transferred to Boeing's South Carolina plant. That's the only Boeing plant in the world that manufactures the 787 Dreamliner, the same aircraft that crashed. After his transfer, John noticed the culture there was very different. He began to feel that safety and protocols were being compromised. Let me tell you a bit more about 787 Dreamliner first. Production of the 787 started in 2004, and in 2007, Boeing presented it to the world as their new project. In 2011, the aircraft received certification from FAA, Federal Aviation Administration in the USA. In the same year, Boeing flew a test aircraft from their own field to Dhaka, Bangladesh. Why? Because that was the longest non-stop flight at that time, about 20,000 kilometers, setting a world record to attract investors and showcase the aircraft's strength. The article here is from Boeing's own website. It says that the Dreamliner uses 25% less fuel than other planes, can fly long distance non-stop, and has other advanced features. That's why its demand rose rapidly and it became Boeing's best-selling wide-body passenger aircraft. Now coming back to John Barnett, his transfer happened in 2010. The aircraft launched in 2011 and orders began to flood in. Naturally, production had to scale up. John started raising complaints. He said the culture at the Everett plant was much better, but in South Carolina, safety guidelines were ignored. He was told work in the gray area, meaning don't question everything, just get the plane out fast. Even if there are minor safety concerns, ignore them. John reported this to the FAA and filed a complaint stating that Boeing wasn't following safety protocols for the 787. After his retirement, during court cases, John made several revelations. For example, if a tool like a screwdriver is left inside the aircraft by mistake and the plane is sealed, then it stays there. He also said that many oxygen masks didn't work, and in case of cabin pressure loss, that could be fatal. But whenever he raised these concerns, he was told not to overthink and just clear the file. In South Carolina, he was told, our job is to build planes and get them out. Don't complain about everything. After a long struggle, John Barnett was found dead in 2024. It was confirmed to be suicide. Some letters also surfaced, which you may be seeing. Pause and read them if you wish. This entire incident happened, but after reading John's reports, you will realize he was probably right. It's a huge safety concern. But here is another truth. Until now, the 787 had never crashed. This was the first crash of this model, even though it's been flying for a long time. John himself had said this, maybe not now, but long term the aircraft could cause problems, maybe 10 or 12 years later. So yes, tragedies happen, not only with Boeing but with Airbus too, but significantly fewer with Airbus still. Boeing has a long history and does solid work. So it's not entirely fair to say that Boeing is always at fault. In business, speed, cost, efficiency and innovation matter. Companies try to reduce fuel usage, make lighter planes, etc. Whether safety is truly compromised, only time will tell. But the main thing is we need to be informed, especially us Indians, because this type of critical information is barely discussed here. Outside India, Boeing-related concerns are taken more seriously. This was a very unfortunate incident. What else can we do? Expect, pray. May those who died rest in peace. Hopefully, such incident will not happen again. And if circumstances like this arise, the government must reassess whether the 787 is still safe to fly. As of now, the USA has said that no major faults have been found in the 787 apart from this crash. So for now, the 787 is doing well and may continue to do so in the future.